Hey, this is ASpengler, and this is episode 7 of building the Outskirts of Saint Lô in Lego. Last week we got a lot of work done. So the first things we started off was filling in the rest of this area, and then after that I put the remaining hedgerow pieces down on this road area. So most of the curved areas on this side of the road, then I filled in the road, and then after that I filled in this area here. So quite a bit of work done. Now we have about 2/3 of the entire mock covered up now. Next step, I want to finish up covering up this little pocket here. I do have a few nets pre-made and ready for that, so here are these 4 nets. I'll probably need 1 or 2 more just to fill in that area. It's kind of an awkward area because the mock itself comes apart in 6 different areas. On this side it'll come apart about here, so there's a possibility that 1 could fit in there, and then over on that far end over there it does come apart again there, so I'll have to figure out how I do that with the nets. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. I just might have to use more plate work than nets than on some of the other areas, but with that shouldn't take too long. The thing that takes the longest is assembling those nets, so we have 4 of those already ready to be put in. What else we could do is start getting ready the city area. So that's probably going to be getting the road covered up, but one thing I'll have to keep in mind is there's going to be a lot of artillery craters over here, so I might just start off with making a few platforms where the houses will go on and map out where the different artillery craters will be, so it's kind of more organized and so I can better work around it. So that's what we'll be doing. First finish up over there, and then I'll come back and then we'll figure out what we're doing over here. And just you probably saw this tree over here. This is kind of a prototype I was working on for what the trees might look in this mock that will kind of be going around above the hedgerows. And so this is kind of a small little tree. I'll probably make a few that are a little taller, a few that are shorter, more bush-like. And kind of the aim with these trees is they're smaller bush-like trees, not super big. So I'll make a few that are a little bit bigger, but the majority of them will be smaller, and I will cover up the hedgerows with a lot of bush work. So with this stuff, there's not going to be a lot of big trees just because the farmers would have cleared those out, but you want to keep some smaller trees to block out wind and other elements to protect the fields. So that's why there'll be smaller trees, maybe a few big ones that will go in the city, but maybe not because the city's pretty blown up. But with that, that's kind of just a prototype tree right there. Probably make a few more of those later, but with that I'll go ahead and finish up this area over here. Okay guys, come back after doing the first bit of work. This last side section is now covered up. If you look closely, I did have to use plate work here, right here, and quite a bit over here on this side. That's just because this is the section where that splits off. There's a gap right here and a gap right here, so this one I couldn't really easily fit a net in there, so I only did plate work there. The center section, that's where I chose to do basically all the nets, and I did fit 1 net on this last section right here, but since it was so high up and kind of awkward. I ended up doing it over here and then did some plate work, and then right here there's another section of plate work that I just did not have enough room to put another net in there, because the nets are only like, they're all 10 by 10s and was not 10 studs to fit in right there. So that's what I did first, and while I was at it, normally when I'm filling in these sections, I start putting in the lining, the border around the mock. And so now that all the other sections were covered up, I decided to go around and completely fill in the border, including these corners. Before, if you noticed, I was kind of not working on these sloped areas. I went ahead and did all the sloped areas as well. Some of these side ones weren't completely finished yet, and so there's another one of the sloped. And yeah, this one wasn't completely finished, so I finished up that. Did this corner as well. So now these three sections, so 1, 2, 3, they are all covered up with plating and have the border around. So decent milestone, I guess. We got half the mock covered up. Just have to do all the foliage and details and minifigures. So we'll probably save that though. We still have 3 more sections. That's about 1/3 done, or 1/3 covered up on those. The other section of the mock will have the buildings on it, so I'm guessing we'll probably get like at least the roads done. So I'll stop talking and see how far we can get on those, and then I'll have a message for you guys at the end of the episode. Okay guys, come back for the last bit this segment. I apologize, I ended up running out of time, so I did not get any more of the road done. But just to kind of make it so it wasn't too much of a waste, I did map out the spots where artillery craters and such will be. But sadly, that's all I really got done, but I did put together the whole thing, so I guess you can see where it all comes together and how much we have done so far. So quite a bit, and not too much more to cover up, and then we can get on to more of the details. But another sad thing that I have to announce, I'm heading back to college. If you're not familiar with previous schedule that I told you guys, my college does a 3-month work term and a 3-month school term, and those continually rotate. So we're coming to the end of school term and I have to go back, or we're coming to the end of work term, I have to go back to school, and so this segment will have to stop because I cannot take all of Saint Lô or Outskirts of Saint Lô with me. It won't fit in my dorm room, and I can't bring all my Legos, so we'll have to put it on break for a while. Maybe there's a possibility if I come home for a weekend I might get an episode out, but that's I don't know. I can't predict or tell you guys when I'd come home and when I'd have time to work on it, so expect a pretty big gap until the next Outskirts of Saint Lô episode comes out. What I can do at my dorm, I can work on mini mocks, so hopefully I'll have time to get some more of those out. I know I have had a decent amount of a break since the last time I did a mini mock, so sad news. The segments are going to come to end until I come back or whenever I get time, so sorry about that. It's kind of inconvenient, and I know I wanted to keep going and get this done, but in 3 months, for the next work term, I'll get it up and finished, and then it should be finished in time for Brick World Chicago again. So that's kind of my goal. So we'll have to do a lot of work next work term when I get back in 3 months. So I'm gonna end it out. If you guys like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.